And there I was, moseying down this long, winded path, entrenched in deep thought. Yeah. I come face to face with some crossroads. I look to my left, and I needed to get a good view, so I got down eye level. I broke out the binoculars. I had to scope out the situation, and I saw a path that was worry-free, rainbows and butterflies. Not a care in the world if I traveled down that road. Then, all of a sudden, I look to my right, same thing. Eye level binoculars, I'm scoping out the situation. And boy, the path on the right, it was a treacherous path, a long and treacherous path. Well, certainly we'd be met with controversy and great wrath. And at that moment, I remembered when I was a young lad, I was taught a valuable lesson. If I didn't step out of my comfort zone, take chances in life, that'll never grow. Sorry, nosebleed. I can't play that right now. Yes, sir. I'll never grow, and I'll never experience anything better if I just stay in that lane, right? Because apparently we're causing a tizzy in the community. I don't understand it. This is just what I'm hearing, that we're getting people all up in a tizzy. Some people don't like our presence, apparently. Yes, sir. So this video here might add to that situation. I'll tell you what, though. At least we're getting people out of their seats. And I ain't just talking about no. And what I'm talking about here today is, and I'm sure the thumbnail probably giving it away, right? I'm talking about the very controversial topic of card crafting. Yes. And I can already hear the comments. I can already hear what a lot of people think, what a lot of people are going to say. And I'm going to say this, that it's not going anywhere. So if you want to oppose the system and not participate, you're only doing yourself a disservice at this point. And what I want to do is I want to share my 2 cents. You know, I have a little experience with this area of the game. And I'll tell you what, though, initially before this ever even came to the game, and you can ask people, I was talking about just quitting the game altogether. Just stop playing Marvel Future Fight, because I did not like this. I didn't like the idea. They changed a couple things, right? They changed a couple things with it. The overall cost of crafting these cards, right? You needed a premium card with every star that you wanted to craft. You need that, and that was bizarre. Am I right? But it's gotten much more accessible for the average player. Even some of the free-to-plays, you know, they give you a free premium card every month, right? And you only need 5 of them. Now, will you get the one you want or the best one? Probably not. But that's some of the benefits of spending a little bit of money, right? Chalking over a little bit of cash to get what you want. It gives other players, you know, the people who will spend, you know, the incentive to spend. If everything was even across the board, whether you spend or you didn't spend, why would anybody spend? So you do have the opportunity. You know, it's just going to take you maybe a little bit longer to get to where other players are at. So if you keep at it, right? I mean, every month you get a card. So you're going to get about, well, I don't think it's a card every 30 days. You might get, 8 or 9 in a year. And then you have the opportunity to go into the legendary battle, right? And you can pick up some cards from there as well. So I know that, you know, I've heard, you know, it's unrelatable to, you know, smaller fish like me and this and that. But the goal is not for it to be completely relatable. Well, the goal is, for one, it to be entertaining, and for two, for you to pick up something from what I do, from what I'm showing you, from what the video has to offer. So this may be, for some people, you know, a near goal. It may be a long-term goal, or it may be a very long-term goal. But I'm going to compare my card set with somebody else's card set. And I'm also going to tell you what I think, in my opinion, some of the best cards to actually craft are. So, first and foremost, the Luna card, especially with the proc, is one of the best cards, right? Because you get the, well, if you have it 7 quality, you get, you know, 11% energy attack and 11% all attack. You don't have the physical attack on it, but you do, and you also have the proc on this card as well. So it adds a lot of value to your energy attack. And I feel like it's one of the easier cards to actually roll, because some of these secondary stats here, these two stats, you don't necessarily need them to be really anything, especially once you get up to crafting, say, your third card. You're going to have enough crit damage or movement speed would be the best here. The best here, in my opinion, is actually max HP, because there's no cap on that, right? So preferably, I would want this to be max HP. That would be the best roll. If this right here would be max HP, in my opinion, that would be the best roll, because there's no cap on it. And we're getting to the point where all these stats are just, they're capped. Another really good card, the White Fox card. So I'm rolling some other cards behind the scene that I will be crafting and then swapping into my new set. So I will have a new set in the near future moving forward. But the White Fox card, that's one that's going to stay. Now, there's a few cards on my side here that could be interchanged, and I'm going to give you my opinion on some of the ones that are going to be easier to roll for you. So the Luna card, easier to roll, easier to get the 7 quality along with that proc. Like I said, the other two stats don't really matter all that much, in my opinion. Like I said, once you get up to, you know, you got, because eventually you're going to craft all your cards, right? And this is a game of patience here. It's a game of patience. It's a long-term game, and you gotta have, you know, a little bit of patience. I didn't have any patience with it, because I'm very competitive in ABX, and if I wanted to, I held off on crafting cards. I didn't start crafting right away. I held off for a while, and I basically only did it once I saw my score slipping. This was, you know, before every day was a cap. And at that point, if I wanted to stay competitive, I really didn't have a choice. So, yeah, the Luna card, that's a really easy card. You know, preferably, you know, the card with the good proc. So this card has a really good proc, and if you notice, it says activation rate 5% chance when attacking. If you see that, so there are some other cards out there that do have this proc. Like the Loki card doesn't have that. It is the when dealing, I think it's like a critical. Let's go see what it actually says, because I don't want to botch it here. Do I even have one? I don't even have one. But anyways, whatever that proc says, I think it's you're dealing a critical. It's like a critical rate hit, something or other like that. But those two procs are different, and they do have different value. So these two have the better procs. So in my opinion, those two cards are a must. So I will be this one, basically the same stats, just or you could even have energy attack on this card, right, instead of the physical attack, because that has the same stat there. Yeah, you know, the max HP would be nice as well. Like if you're a PvP player, I suppose that could work, but I don't know if you'd have this card on your side if you were a PvP focused anyways. But one of the attack stats, you know, depending on where, it seems like the energy attackers are they seem to be more useful in the game lately. So it might be wise to have that as actually energy attack if you have a choice. You really don't have too much choice in the matter. So, but if you want more of a balanced set, if you have the Luna card on there especially, you're going to want that physical attack. Depending on with what the changes in ABX bring, where the cap is going to be at, because it seems like you need more physical attack on your cards than energy attack in order to, well, before anyways, I'm talking about, before, for the crafted situation, you needed more, your card set needed to favor more physical attack than energy attack in order to be in a better position to place higher. So those two cards, really good cards. Now I'm going to show you some others that I think are really easy to roll, and then some that I think are better than others. So this card here, this card in my opinion, especially now with crafted cards, especially if you have a few crafted, because you don't need these secondary stats here. Like there's max HP down here, so that could be really, really beneficial. So if you get this card, 7 quality with just max HP, you're golden. Because what else would we be losing? Attack speed or crit damage? Like, I'm going to show you in a second. And then here, it's basically ignore defense. You're not going to... Let me show you something. So, and everybody sooner or later should get to a point like this, right? You're getting premium cards every month. You're getting the cubes every day. And you're getting... Basically, everybody's getting like the same amount of mythic cards, right? If you play all the content that actually drops them. There's some stuff that I'm not even actually playing right now, or I could actually get more cards. So right now, with all 5 of my cards crafted, I have 57% ignore defense. I don't need any. I could lose 25. Like I was my set before that, I think I had 26%. Ignore defense, so I could lose 30% ignore defense and still be okay. There were some things I had to, like the 4th gear option, uniform option, stuff like that, in order to, cap out the ignore defense. But you obviously don't need that much, and most players know all this stuff already. So the ignore, you don't need that. I have 40% attack speed. Like if you have over 20% attack speed, you're in good shape. I have 32% critical damage. Like all these, they're really high stats. I have 40% dodge. So, all this stuff is accessible. Like I said, it might take you a little bit longer than others. So having a long-term goal of this stuff and seeing where some of the players who are a little bit further along than you could really benefit you in just planning out, get the gears turning, right? Planning out exactly, what you want your set to look like. So in a few different scenarios, I wish that I could have, a scope, a lens into looking into somebody else's set before I actually crafted mine. So yeah, this card, good card, because like I said, I mean, the chances of you getting this stat with max HP and a 7 quality are a lot better than having to have 2 of these stats at a certain stat at 7 quality. You feel me? You know what I mean? So very easy card to roll because you have all your attack stats up there, right? You get the 7 quality and there you go. It's a done deal. And in my opinion, like for me, I mean, if I got this card just even 7 quality without any of these other, like if they all were what they are right now with the 7 quality, depending on how my luck was moving forward with rolling cards and how many cards I had, I would just equip that. You can make up all those secondary stats other than the max HP, just because there's no cap on it, with crafting, right? And you could craft certain cards behind the scenes and equip them once they're all ready, right? Now, another card that I think is better than others. So any card that has all attack and max HP as the initial stats, as the fixed stats, it's going to be better, right? So this card right here, the Guardians of the Galaxy card, this will be one that I'm going to try to roll right and then equip. So this one here, it's 4 quality and it has both attack stats, but it's not offering me anything really better. I would gain 3% max HP if if I took off the baby spider card that I have right now and equip this one. I mean, 3%, it's a little bit, but it's not a huge improvement. So I'm gonna wait until I get something better, and then I'll be looking to equip this one as well. So this one here, though, you know, like comparing it to the Avengers card that I just showed you, right? That's the Avengers, the Avengers card, the all new, all different Avengers, #1. So comparing it to that, you actually need 2 stats to roll in your favor, along with the, you know, high quality. It doesn't have to be 7, right? I mean, in my opinion, like you could actually go either way, depending. And I'm going to show you a buddy of mine, his set right now, and he I wouldn't say he jumped the gun, but he didn't have like the absolute ideal roll on the card, but he thought it was good enough where it was going to offer him what he wanted. So this one here, now I'm getting, you know, both attack stats, but it's, you know, it's 4 quality. So essentially you're losing out 4% all attack on it, because you got 2% here, right? Because it's 9, not 11. And then on the crafted stat, it matches what the quality is. So you're also getting another 9. So you have 18 versus 22, right? And same with the max HP. Now, I'm going to show you my set. So those are, so the Luna, the White Fox, the All New, All Different, and the Guardians of the Galaxy, I think are excellent choices. And then basically you can kind of just add in whatever other card that you think is going to, you know, basically whatever you have in your inventory, right? It could be any Baby Spider, Black Panther, any card that has all attack as the initials, as a fixed stat, right? And then both attack stats on the card are going to be your best options. You don't have to have that, and you could still have a really good set. I would aim for cards that do have that, though, if possible. And like I'm hearing from some players that, like right now, because basically you want to aim for 30% ignore defense, 30% cooldown. I've operated with a bit less than that, not much. I feel like 25 would be the absolute lowest, right? But those 2 stats above any else, you definitely want to have at those points. And what I'm seeing some people do, and I've asked some people who are just like lower spenders and so on and so forth, so some of their strategy, and it makes complete sense that you craft this card behind the scenes, right? Because if you were to say unequip a certain card, you might fall below the ignore defense or cooldown, and it would just kind of mess up your builds and your roster a little bit. So crafting a card behind the scenes, and then once you get, the ignore defense and or cooldown, whatever it is that you need, whatever that card isn't offering as the initial stats on it, is going to be the route that you want to take. Okay, so now I want to compare. So my set here, right? So I was hell bent on making sure my cards had, both attack stats. I wasn't, before the crafting situation, I wasn't really super concerned about the quality. Obviously, higher quality is better, but both attack stats were what I wanted, and that seemed to be, a better trade-off. Like, you wanted both attack stats versus a higher quality, or even just like, at least one of the attack stats, or better options down here versus the higher quality. That seemed to be the general consensus, right? And you'll notice on these, I have, basically the attack stats. Like this one, you only can get one or the other. And this one, I have both of them. And here, I have the proc. That's the only other thing you can get. Actually, you can get physical attack here, but the proc's just better. So, now, you see my card effects here. I have 141.8 energy attack, energy attack plus the all attack, and then for physical attack, what do I have? 126.5. Okay. Yes, I'm a PvE focused player. So now I'm going to show you my buddy. So I got his permission before doing this if I could showcase his cards here, because he's doing something a little bit different. His cards are very similar to mine, actually. Maybe even better or worse, depending on how you look at it. So now he has 4 7 quality cards. He wanted the higher quality on his cards. Now, look, he's got the Guardians of the Galaxy card. He's got the Avengers card here, right? He's got the Luna card, the White Fox card, and then he just shuffled in the Cable card. It must have been what his luck was bringing him. And so this card, he actually got a really good roll on this. He got the attack speed, max HP, and crit rate. Like, that's an awesome roll. Like I said, though, you don't need the attack speed and the crit rate. Like, most characters, they get the crit rate buff on their skills anyways, right? And it's not hard. It seems to be like one of the only stats that you really only have to worry about capping if they don't. But so let's look. He has 38% attack speed. He could lose that attack speed on that card and be completely fine. And the crit rate, like I said, you don't necessarily need crit rate. I have very little crit rate, and I've been just fine without it. Now this card, he only has one of the attack. He has energy attack on this card. He has 1 attack stat. This card, he is missing the proc, but I mean, with how high his attack is, it really shouldn't matter that much. This card as well, if you look, he's missing the phys. He's missing in attack stat, and here he has energy attack. So, you can get away with not having like the perfect roll on the card and having like a higher quality. And like, look, he's gonna end up. See, he still doesn't even have 1 card crafted yet. I have all mine crafted, so he's gonna end up with more. Like he even has more energy attack than I do right now, right? He does have the energy attack rolled on the White Fox card. His physical attack will end up being a little bit lower than mine. Not by all that much, though. Not by all that much. Like if he gets all attack, well, I'm missing 10% physical attack. Once, in a perfect world, if I get the roll on, so my Cable card, the crafted stat is energy attack right now. So, and I already know I could, like the whole thing in the beginning was just basically to point out that I know I'm going to get some slack for this because a lot of people can't relate, right? I don't have, all these cards and so on and so forth, but sooner or later you will get there, right? If you play the game and you collect everything you can in game, there shouldn't be any reason why you shouldn't be able to reach this point at some point, right? Depending on how RNG and luck is with like we get the tokens now, right, from GBR, and you get 300 from the from the pass, from the future pass. This might be more so to help you in the long term versus short term, depending on where you're at with your account is all. So I'm just trying to show you different routes that you could take. Sometimes it's the little things that actually matter. So like I said, he went for higher quality with having, some of the stats, just like one of the attack stats rolled, and it seems to be working out just fine for him. Because initially, I actually thought, I'm like, well, it would be better to have both attack stats with like a 4 quality like I have. But it seems like that doesn't necessarily have to be the case. And I'm learning that right now. So yeah. And I think that pretty much covers it. Like I said, if you don't have a whole lot of options, your set is kind of like you're on the brink of, you have just enough ignore defense and cooldown. You can't swap this card in because you'll fall under that, right? So craft that card behind the scenes, right? Get a decent roll, get a good enough roll, craft that card behind the scenes, get some of those secondary stats on it, and then equip that card. Right? And then at that point, I think, it's like, the momentum will get rolling because you'll have additional secondary stats and you don't have to be so concerned about it. And then you could go on and start crafting the rest of your set, whether it's equipped or not equipped, right? So there it is. I wanted to share my 2 cents with you guys about the card crafting situation. I doubt that I covered all aspects and topics of it, but you know, I don't think you guys want to listen to me talk about cards for, you know, an hour and a half, right? So I'm gonna tell you right now though, stay tuned there, partner, because I got some other stuff up my sleeve. Call me a magician. Yes, sir. All right, guys. I will catch you in the next one. Later.